Make the ground shake.
Rome's greatest achievement was the amount of land that they conquered. Rome spread over 3 continents, the empire lasting from 625 BC to 476 AD. They were the most powerful armies that was a big part of expanding Rome's borders. The Romans also had a great many inventions that helped Rome grow. Rome started when 2 brothers, Romulus and Remus, were raised by a she-wolf, Lupa, with her cubs. They were found by a shepherd named Flatulus. They grew up as shepherds, killed the evil king, also called the Great Uncle, refused a crown, and instead returned it to the grandfather. They set off on a journey to build their own city. Because they couldn't decide where to build the city, they let the gods decide through arbitrary. Romulus counted 12 birds on Plantain Hill, Remus counted 6 on Aventine Hill. Remus thought that Romulus had lied, so he challenged him to the death. Romulus won, and he named the city after himself. What is an aqueduct, you might ask? An aqueduct was a system that the Romans created to transport water to Rome's people. It would also keep the disease out of the water. They were built from stone, brick, and a special volcanic cement called Pazulia. There were 260 miles of aqueducts across Rome. With the aqueducts, they would have a clean supply of water that was accessible everywhere in Rome. This allowed the Romans to expand and increase without running into a water crisis. The water came from reservoirs flowing through lead pipes. This ended up being a problem because the rich were getting lead poisoned because all their pipes were lead. The rich thought the lead would cleanse the water. Aqueducts affect us now because we use a lot of the same techniques to transport water. Without the Roman aqueducts, Earth wouldn't have evolved this quickly, and we would have a much lower population. Architecture was a big part of Rome and had a huge impact on modern architecture. From the Colosseum to the amphitheater of El Degem, Rome built a lot of large structures with their own style. It was one of their greatest achievements and it reflects in their architecture. The Romans had a structure called the Roman arch. They used it in bridges and other structures like the Colosseum. This arch is reflected in modern architecture from doors to the bridge design in places like Boston. In New York, one of the main sightseeing places is in Washington Square, where it uses the arch. One of the most important uses of the arch was structures to transport water in their aqueduct system. In fact, one of the most important places in Rome, Point de Garde, which uses the arch with the aqueducts. About 30% of the English language is borrowed from other languages directly, but a lot more is borrowed indirectly. The languages that are part of this are French, Italian, Portuguese, and Spanish, but the most prominent one is Latin. In fact, 28.84% of the English language is derived from Latin, whether it be directly or indirectly. The main source of these words is Latin roots, but what isn't accounted for in that 28.84% is the indirect similarities like fragile/frail, army/armada, corona/crown, ratio/reason, and rooted/round. Overall, Rome had a huge impact on modern times, and without them, the world would be a different place. We wouldn't be anywhere close to where we are today. From the aqueducts that allowed people to access clean water to the great architecture that was designed, Rome still had a lasting impact.